Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Melanie Dorigo. I am running for Congress in New York's 3rd District to be the first Congresswoman ever to represent the seat. We are running a strong, people-centered campaign that uplifts everyone at the expense of no one, and I hope that we have your vote, and I hope we have your support.
Right now, a real hot issue is reproductive rights. So now, what's wrong with letting the states decide?
How about letting women decide? How about letting birthing people decide what they do with their own body?
That sounds like big government.
I'm sorry, are you suggesting that allowing government to decide what people do with their own bodies is...
No, just the states, the state legislature.
Which is also a government.
Yeah.
Doesn't that go against your notion of big government? Isn't that an aggressive overreach of government reaching into people's bedrooms and deciding what they do with their own body?
Well, sometimes big government has to regulate big government. And that's the states.
And this is why we need public education, folks. This is why we need public education.
Yeah. No government. Right. A big issue that Democrats are talking about right now is student loans. My dad and my grandfather worked really hard to pay off all my student loans. And I'll be really upset if the next generation just doesn't have to pay off any of their student loans. It just doesn't seem fair to me.
It is unfair to ask students to repay loans over and over and over again, saddling them to a lifetime of debt.
What about all these companies that thrive on student loan debt? I mean, what's going to happen to them and all those jobs?
The companies that have preyed on poor people for decades, that have sold this lie that all they needed to do was take out a student loan, get a college degree, and get a good job, and then all of a sudden there were no good jobs and they couldn't pay back their student loans, or better yet, have paid back their student loans 3 times over and still owe more than the original loan. Those companies will be just fine because those companies have more than made back their investment.
That's, again, so the free market. And you see, like, when you mess with the free market, you get...
Excuse me. When we mess with the free market, when we mess with education, this is what we get. This is what we get. Uninformed people who like to switch and move and dispel information, who like to twist words to trick you. We need to expand publication in this country, including expanding public education. We need to include universal pre-K, and we need to expand public college and make it a public good. If we want to compete on the national stage, that's how we do it.
Universal pre-K, what about universal Bible study? You know, a little personal story I have about Obamacare. So under Obamacare, I was forced to buy health care. I bought health care, cool. I go to visit the doctor. I'm sitting in the doctor's office. This guy comes in with a lab coat and a stethoscope, and he sticks his fingers right up my ass. Okay, and then I find out he doesn't even work there. And then I find out I'm not even in the doctor's office. I had the wrong address. I'm afraid of that same thing happening to the American people if big government takes over Medicare.
Thank you for making the case for mental health care for all. The government already runs Medicare.
No, Medicare is run by the free market.
No, it is a government program.
You tell me the Democrats made Medicare into a government program?
I'm telling you, it's always been a government program. And let me make another really important point to dispel any other misinformation you may have. Medicare for all via universal health care would be a government finance system, not a government run system. You could still see your doctors, you could still go to your local offices, hospitals, etc. It's a government finance program that would allow us to have an upgraded healthcare system in this country for everyone. Everyone in, no one out.
But how are we going to have health care for all and also fund like the military and the police? You know,
you want to talk about the military budget? Let's talk about the military budget, where we pay almost $3 trillion every single year. And by the way, it's not going toward securing our country. And a huge piece of it is going to defense contractors who lobby our government. We're not seeing that money. And more importantly, that money is not going to our military members. I think we would be a whole lot better off if we did decrease the military budget.
But then that would make us less safe.
No, it would not. We have a military budget that is higher than the next 10 countries combined.
That's why America's so great.
That's not why America is so great. America is so great because we have people of all faiths, of all genders, of all religions, of all ethnicities coming to this country to create a unified, wonderful
why we need
country.
To secure our southern border. And they have all these people coming and flooding into our country through the southern border.
No, we don't. Firstly, the majority of undocumented immigrants fly into this country. It has nothing to do with a border wall, okay? And if we really want to...
We need a radar system.
No, if we really want to address the crisis at the border, of which there is a real crisis. I was down there. I did some humanitarian aid work down there, so I've seen it with my own eyes. What we really need to do is reinvest in the communities that our country played a unsized hand in unstabilizing.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with legal immigration as long as they come here legally and that they don't all turn out to be Biden voters or something.
We absolutely have a legal immigration system in this country that is broken. We need to fix it. There is a backlog.
But if all of these immigrants come into our country, there's not going to be any jobs left.
Whose jobs are they stealing? Your job?
I mean, they could. Anyone can go on the metaverse and trade crypto all day. I mean, and so I feel like, what if a lot of, because that threatens my job and my wages. What if people, from other countries come here and they get on the metaverse and start trading NFTs and crypto all day? Like, what are we going to do then?
If a person wants to get on the metaverse and trade crypto and NFTs, can't they do it from their own countries right now? What would be the difference?
That's the genius of the blockchain right now, is that it's sort of international, and it's really amazing. So, BitPay, thank you. See, that guy gets it. So he knows BitPay. Wait, the BitPay is also on the blockchain. You know what? Cool. What are the platforms that you want voters to be aware of?
Yeah, listen, I'm running on a people-first platform, which means every one of our policies invests in people, right? So we're looking at universal health care, climate justice. We are looking at reproductive rights. And we're looking at getting corporate money out of politics, which has an outsized overreach on our government.
Corporations have free speech. You want to limit that free speech?
The Citizens United decision was a mistake. Corporations are not people, they are corporations.
Okay. So, I mean, like, why can't they, use their free speech to buy and sell elections?
If our representatives want to represent corporations and not our communities, then we don't live in a functioning society any longer.
Right now, a big issue is indoctrination of our children in schools with the whole LGBTQ thing. What are your thoughts?
There is no indoctrination. Public education is a public good, and part of public education is a shared experience, a time for us to understand each other's cultures, each other's histories, and create a more accepting world.
My daughter right now is in the 2nd grade, and the school is teaching her pronouns. Apparently there's like 100 pronouns according to this school. I can't say anything about this because I'm 6 to 8 months behind on my child support payments. According to the government, I have no rights in saying where she goes to school. What about school choice?
And by school choice, do you mean defunding public education?
Yeah. That's what school choice is.
No, we are not defunding public education. Public education is the bedrock of our democracy. In a time where we are seeing union busting from corporations all over the country, the last thing we need right now is a government to union bust teachers' unions. Haven't they been through enough? They showed up. They were there for our children during the pandemic. The government has continually failed to protect them from gun violence. And now you want to union bust, defund public education, and take their jobs? Absolutely not.
The Republicans have supported stronger doors and, to give teachers more access to assault rifles.
That is not supporting teachers. It's not supporting students. It's not supporting our society. You want to support teachers against gun violence? Pass common sense gun safety legislation. No civilian should have an assault weapon. No civilian, which is why we need to ban assault weapons. We need to ban high-capacity magazines, and we need to ban ghost guns.
What are ghost guns?
I'm not going to tell your audience.
Look up ghost guns.
Right now, we are seeing an exciting movement around the country where workers are stepping into their power. They're organizing like we haven't seen in decades, and they are unionizing. The public needs to support unions. We need to unionize everything.
At my job, they played this video that they made, and it was really illuminating because it showed me how the unions just want our money and how the unions are only in it for the money.
Well, that, sir, is a perfect example of a union busting tactic. That is not true. Unions are on the workers' side, always. Always have been, always will be.
The job I work at, the owner came in and said, hey, if you guys keep trying to unionize and demand higher pay, I'm going to have to move this factory to China and get some child labor in here. If you don't want that, knock it off. So aren't Democrats kind of, creating child labor with all this union stuff?
No, they are not. We have anti-child labor laws in this country. We also have laws against corporations union busting, and that needs to be reported to the National Labor Relations Board.
Isn't that like freedom of speech?
No, it is not. Not when it's anti-worker. It is absolutely not.
What about personal responsibility?
In what respect?
If you don't like the job, you just get a better job, right?
Oh, is that how you think the world works?
Yeah, you just if you don't like where you're working, you get a better job, and then yeah.
And with your plan to defund public education, how do you expect people that come from disadvantaged backgrounds to move upwards, to get those better jobs if we don't provide education, if we don't expand education in this country?
They can go to a charter school.
Are you fucking with me right now? You are? You're...
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God! Thank you. This has been good.
I feel a lot better now.
Okay. Well, there are people out there that think exactly like me, but that's.
Well, no. Listen. Well, then, thank you for the comedy today, but we need to come together. We've got real crises in our country, and it's going to take all of us to address them. So, if anyone is watching this interview today, I hope that you enjoyed the voice of reason.